Lean in, beloveds. For generations, we've been told that hoodoo, magic, and honoring our ancestors is evil, demonic, even, and certainly an abomination. But here's the truth they don't want you to see. They've been doing our practices all along under different names, wearing a different mask, while convincing us to throw away our spiritual birthright. And baby, that's how you erase a people. Strip them from their magic, their memory, and their connection to their own bloodline. This is the Conscious Oracle here, Chief Apostle Veronica Israel, and welcome to the Sankofa Sessions podcast. So let's talk about the disconnect from our own lineage. You know, black folks love to claim Bible characters as their heritage. You know, they say, oh, we're the children of Israel, or we're the spiritual Israelites. Abraham is my ancestor. Moses is my people. We the real Israelites. But you ask them to name their great grandmother's full name, and they're going to look at you like you asked them for the winning Powerball numbers. See, you don't know your great grandfather's story. You don't know where your people come from. You don't know the land, the language, or the struggles they endured just so you could stand here today and disrespect their memory. I know so many people are not going to like this, but that's okay. It's the truth anyhow. See, you'll light candles in a church for saints you've never met, but won't light one at home for your grandmother, your own grandmother, which you knew, loved. So let's talk facts. You don't know where Moses is buried and if he even existed. But you do know exactly where Mama, Daddy, Big Mama, Granddad, Aunt Sally, May, and Uncle Junebug are laid to rest. You have no proof but Methuselah or John the Baptist ever existed. But you got a drawers full of obituaries. Yeah, I know. I know how we do. We got drawers full of obituaries. Photo albums and urns that prove your ancestors walked this earth. So let's get into this. See, here's the kicker. You've been tricked into thinking ancestral practices are evil when your very Bible is full of them. You know how people like to the King James Bible. And they ain't never looked at a 1611 edition of the King James Bible. I digress. Altars, all through the Bible. Genesis, the 8th chapter, verse 20. Exodus, chapter 20, verse 24. Incense, everywhere in the Bible. Exodus 30, verse 7 through 8. Psalm 141, verse 2. Revelation, chapter 8, verses 3 through 4. Need I go on? Food and drink offerings from Genesis to Revelation. You got Genesis 35 and 14. Leviticus, chapter 2, verse 1 through 2. Numbers, chapter 28, verse 7. Yet somebody told you not to keep an altar at home. Told you incense invites demons. Told you food offerings to your ancestors is witchcraft. But here's the hypocrisy here. Jewish people light candles every Sabbath in remembrance of their history and ancestors. Yet you say your faith is built on Judeo-Christian, on Jewish values. Yet you demonize lighting candles for your ancestors. Well, on Passover, Jews also even set a place for Elijah, the deceased prophet. Sounds familiar? Catholics worldwide light candles for saints and set up shrines. And even you will light candles at a funeral vigil. but call it something different so it feels holy. But just because a rose is known by any other name, it don't make it less than what it is, a rose. As the old folks say, a hint to the wise to be sufficient. So, baby, let's be real. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. You already do ancestor veneration. You just call it something else. You don't call it that. See, when you name a street after Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., that is, say with me, ancestor veneration. When you hold a candlelight vigil for someone who passed or was in a tragic car accident, you put a little cross and flowers where the accident happened. Guess what, baby? Say it with me. That's ancestor veneration. When you wear your grandmother picture on a shirt, when you wear your grandmother's necklace or keep her Bible close, guess what? That's ancestor veneration. When you fight over the funeral program and obituary at the funeral so you can have a keepsake, baby, guess what? Say it with me. That's ancestor veneration. But because religion told you our ways were evil, you stripped away the African names, the African practices, and the African meaning, indigenous practices, our culture, and you replaced it with something that made it acceptable under the colonizers' rule. And for my I don't do rituals, folks, hard stop. You've been baptized, right? That's a ritual bath, a spiritual bath. The same concept in African spirituality and hoodoo for spiritual cleansing. You had your baby christened, right? Ritual bath, spiritual cleansing, spiritual bath. You take communion, don't you, every first Sunday? That's a blood ritual, claiming to eat the body and drink the blood of the Lord. Cannibalism, if I ever did see it. But when we pour out libations for our ancestors, suddenly it becomes demonic. Make it make sense. The only difference is the label, and the label was changed to make you think your rituals were holy, ours were evil, or everybody else's are evil. The problem is the elitism mindset of Christians. See, the reason people are leaving the church and organized religion in general in record numbers isn't because they hate God. Let's get that straight. They love God, but they hate the foolishness. It's because the jig is up, baby. We see the hypocrisy. We see the control, the manipulation. We see the imperial hand that has used religion to keep us spiritually docile, disconnected, and dependent. Because, in the words of Reverend Kristen Smith, religion is a hell of a drug. And now the veil is lifting. The matriarch has returned. The divine cosmic mother has come to restore order to us. Now, this awakening you might be feeling, you don't know what it is, but it's an awakening. It may feel chaotic at first because deprogramming is uncomfortable, but it's necessary. And in this season, you either align with truth or you become obsolete. Period, point blank in the story. So, beloveds, I came to tell you today, reclaim your hoodoo. Woo. Reclaim your hoodoo. Reclaim your magic. Reclaim your ancestral power. Remember their names, call their names, keep their memory alive. Because when you lose connection to your ancestors, you lose connection to yourself. And beloved, when you lose yourself, you already lost the fight. So get in the kitchen and cook. your grandmother's recipe, your grandfather's recipe. Take a little portion out for your deceased loved one, the foods that they love. Build an altar in your home for your ancestors. Light that candle in memory of your ancestors. Call their names, speak their names, pull out that family album. Set up pictures on your altar of your grandmother and great-grandfather and your mom and dad, your aunts, those who loved you, those who protected you in life. They are still alive. And the more you call their names, the more you reminisce on their stories, the more you honor them in the ancestral realm, the more you remain your connection strong. The more they guide and protect you. Your ancestors is just like what people consider saints that are deceased. You calling on Jesus. But guess what? There's other ancestors other than Jesus. Let's use our critical thinking skills. See the difference when Islamic people go to the mosque, the masjid, they leave their shoes at the door. But Christians, when they go to the church, they check out their critical thinking skills and they leave it at the door. We need to change the narrative. Question everything and believe nothing. Our ancestors used to say, believe half of the things that you see and none of what you hear. Think for yourself. Don't allow misinformation and propaganda and people's opinions and misgivings cause you to deny your heritage. It is yours. No one should be able to come in and tell you to stop connecting to what is natural, that what is innate, that which is born in your blood. You can try to run from things called evil, but you can never run from it. It's funny things. Used to hear the ancestors say, don't put your pocketbook on the floor, because if you do, you're going to lose your money. You're going to stay broke. That's hoodoo, baby. When the ancestors used to tell us to clean the house before New Year's Eve, clean the house top to bottom, cook those greens, all that good stuff, wash your clothes, because you don't wash clothes on New Year's Day, because guess what? They say you'll wash the money right out your house. You eat greens for money and prosperity. All of these things is what hoodoo. Well, our ancestors came here to a foreign land amongst foreign people. We adapted. We had our own spiritual practices. We had our own language, our own understanding of God, the creator of life. We had our own cosmology, but we learned to adapt. And you had people from all other different African nations all here that mix in with the indigenous people of the Americas and some of us that were already here. And we learned to amalgamate. We learned to take a little of this and take a little of that and use it for medicine for our people, for healing for our body and our minds, knowing the herbs and its properties to heal our body. That's what grandma and them were doing when they were conjure women, when they were two-headed doctors. That's what they were doing when everybody came to Big Mama house. If they had a headache, if they were sick, if they needed prayer, if something was going wrong. A lot of our ancestors didn't call it hoodoo. They were prayer warriors. They yet went to church and came home and lighted a candle. They went to church, prayed in tongues, rolled out on the floor, but they knew how to make that floor wash to cleanse the house from the back to the front. These are the things we have to return to. How to wash your doors, how to anoint yourself, how to cleanse your home from negative energies. These are the things that we have abandoned that we need to return to. And I'm going to keep on saying, I don't care who get upset, I'm going to keep saying it because it's necessary. It's important to our survival, for our growth, for our expansion, and for the collective whole. Not only Black people need to return to the indigenous practice, everybody need to return to the indigenous practice because every culture has magic. Every culture has their own spiritual cosmology. And if everybody can accept their own ways and practices, what's wrong with us? That's the question. Conscious Oracle here. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for viewing. Follow, like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. If you like what we're saying, you can donate to this podcast, to our work. You can give using Cash App. The handle is $ capital VSY, lowercase ISRAEL 2021. Support us if you love this content. And if you are looking to reconnect to your ancestral practices, reach out to us. If you're looking for a spiritual community that are decolonizing and deconstructing faith and reconstructing a faith and a life that is built on universal laws, cosmic truth, and spirituality from expanded consciousness, join the Soul Awakening Sanctuary movement. Because in that package, as a member, you get one-on-one coaching sessions with me once a month. You get an anointed oil, a small vial of anointing oil. You get discounted other sacred tools and products that we have. You get a discount. So join us and you get to be a part of the different classes and sessions that we have that are not open to the public. So it can be a blessing to you and help you on your journey. You don't have to do this alone. Join this global spiritual family and community that is growing every day from all over the place. And if you're ready to rise and deconstruct the Bible and religion and decolonize your faith, join us for our 4-week intensive that begins on August the 6th, 2025. Spots are limited. Register today for your spot. We are going to be decoding the Bible. We are going to be going back to find out, how did we get here? Why are we wired this way when it comes to religion? And begin to break it down and see things for what it is. And not only see the Bible for a literal text, but we see it for its esoteric truths, its hidden meanings, its codes, and we're going to decode it so we can grasp the metaphysical understanding of the Bible. Because that's my specialty, to teach the Bible from a metaphysical perspective, for its esoteric truths. How can I use this that's been used for a tool of oppression for liberation? So join us, register today. You can register by emailing us at thesoulawakeningsanctuary at gmail.com, or you can inbox us on social media. And if you're looking for spiritual sacred tools, candles, whether regular or dress candles. If you're looking for anointing oils, aura sprays, things to help you with your manifestation, reach out to us. Shop with the Conscious Oracle Metaphysical Shop. All of these things we have for you to help you on your practice and your spiritual journey and elevation and expanding and returning back to your roots. If you want to get one-on-one coaching sessions, if you want spiritual consultations, prophetic readings, reach out to us and book your session or purchase the items that you need for your spiritual practice in your journey, for protection, for manifestation, for blessing and abundance. You can email us at Sankofa Spiritual Solutions LLC at gmail.com. Reach out to us today so you can begin your journey or help elevate your journey in returning to your essence and the core of who you are. Love you lots. Conscious Oracle, Chief Apostle Veronica Israel. We are here awakening the minds of the world, one mind at a time. Until next time, peace be with you. Know that I love each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart. I say that often because most people never been told that you are loved. So I want you to know that you're loved by me as you are. Not for what the world say you should be, for who you are. No matter your sex, creed, color, background, culture, none of that matters. Because love is key. The greatest commandment is to love the Creator with all your heart, mind, body, and soul, and to love your neighbor as yourself. But it is assumed that you know about self-love because it says love your neighbor as yourself. So you have to know how to love yourself first before you can love someone. And that's what we need to learn more. Religion haven't taught us self-love, how to love ourselves, what it looks like. It's just not mani and petties and, hoopla and getting your hair done and relaxing on the beach. No, honey. Self-love is learning to say no when everybody used to you saying yes. Learning to preserve your energy. Learning not to give from an empty cup, but you give from your reservoir. You give from your overflow. These are the things that we have to learn. See you next time on the Technical Possession Podcast. Reach out to us today for your needs, your spiritual guidance. We are ready to serve you through the Sankofa Spiritual Solutions, through the Conscious Oracle Metaphysical Shop, and through the Soul Awakening Sanctuary Movement. And if you're a spiritual leader, you have a ministry, or if you've been a bishop, pastor, or whatever, and you're now trying to deconstruct and decolonize and looking how you can do that, you can join the Communion of Conscious Spiritual Churches, where we are building a community, an organization of spiritual leaders, pastors, bishops, prophets, seers, of people who lead different groups, congregation, temples, and whatever have you, priests and priestesses that are looking to have a merge of Christ consciousness, moving away from organized religion, but still have spirituality, still know how to function now in this new arena. Reach out to us today and we'll help you get started and be a part of this groundbreaking movement. Love you lots. Till next time, peace be with you.